The Ministry Leadership Program builds on the expertise of the Ministry Leadership Centre, which is based in California in the US. That centre started in 2002, and since then they've been running programs for leaders and developing their expertise in best practice leadership formation. So we are delighted to be able to build on their knowledge and experience to bring this program to Australia.
We need a language around the mission. That's knowledge, that's education. We need something more than that though, even more primary. We need a commitment, and that really is formation. And it's these two qualities of education and formation that I believe the program actually responds to.
That every human being expresses certain inalienable rights.
Obviously, working in the Catholic healthcare industry, you're working in a particular ministry where you are very aware of the mission and the values of the organisation, but to get that additional depth of knowledge into the actual how to be Catholic, etc., what that means on a day-to-day basis. So I like the slide that was sort of put up yesterday about being informational, formational, and then transformational, being the head, the heart and the hands. So it does give you, the tools then to go back into your own organisation.
We work in the middle of three forces. One is what society and culture demands. One is church history and all that entails, church tradition. And the third one is our own personal experience and the experiences that we have in our ministries. And the trick that people really get and like is they don't sit in Catholic tradition, they sit in the middle of this triangle where there's Catholic tradition, our society and our culture and their own experience. And we try and help them interrogate each of those cultures in a dialogue. So they're not monologues, but actually creating something new. New for the church, new for the society and new for themselves.
The group we're in at the moment, we're in this time and this place. So we're here in Australia, we're grappling with a lot of issues both within the healthcare sector, within our community, within the world. And we're looking at what sort of response should we be making as a church, but also as an organisation that operates under the umbrella of the church.
It doesn't have a focus on assessments, it doesn't have a focus on outputs like that. Its focus is purely on, and it has the freedom to do this, purely on the cultivation of the executive leaders who come along so that they're better able to take our tradition and put it into practice.
We've got such a varied workforce from many different faith traditions and many different cultural traditions. And so sometimes those aspects of mercy values or Catholic social tradition and teaching are quite abstract and very difficult to convey. And yet, because with the action feedbacks, I've created concrete examples where we can explore those issues, I can see that there's an understanding in my colleagues' eyes. They get it.
The opportunity also to do some joint projects together between the sessions has been really helpful. So for example, in the module on suffering, rather than look at it from a patient perspective, which is sort of, I guess, the traditional way you'd look at it, we've looked at it from a staff perspective and wondered what sort of experience staff have coming into our organisation and what barriers we might provide to them or put in their way, really, of being able to be compassionate with our patients. So that's been a project that we've worked on together that's actually continued way beyond that module and I think will have great impact on Cabrini in the future.
The other thing that I found really enriching has been the opportunity to reflect on my own spirituality and to think about the skills and the gifts that I have and how can I really grow those and develop those, bringing into it the scaffolding that I've taken from our heritage to bring that to St Vincent's Health Australia as a Catholic healthcare organisation and to really use those things to further our mission in serving those who are in need.
What they learn on a Friday needs to be practical and relevant to what they are going to be doing on Monday.
So I think the action feedback really requires you to do something and not only reflect but actually put it down on paper and then share that. So I think that's a real strength of the program, and it's not an onerous, I don't think it's an onerous thing at all, but it does force you to do that, and I think that action itself is a really good part of the program, because I have been to things where they're really powerful but there really isn't that sort of follow-up in between, and you can lose the thread of things.
They're using the language of Catholic healthcare with greater confidence. They're talking at a deeper level and encouraging colleagues to talk at a different level. I was actually present at one of the reflections that one of our participants led, and I was just amazed at the impact it actually had on those around the table who hadn't had access to the work of the Ministry Leadership Program. Where the shift has really been is this deeper understanding of the why of Catholic healthcare. So the tradition over centuries of Catholic healthcare and the why we do what we do and why it is so important that we lead differently.
And I think that's what I really love about this course, is everybody who's presented to us are absolute subject matter experts in the truest sense of the word. You know, you can really ask them about some of the more pointy questions, and they are able to respond to them because they've thought about it in depth, and they can substantiate it and give you further learnings that you can take away.
By being physically away from our workplaces and being in a beautiful setting, it just allows you this peace and ability to reflect that we don't get on a day-to-day basis. Life is busy and sometimes too busy to a point of distraction, and coming away on this program just gives you that opportunity to really deeply reflect on what we're looking at.
So the methodology of the program, which is a methodology that takes experience seriously, which takes the tradition seriously, and which takes the cultural situation in which we all live our lives seriously, is a program that can lead to change, because all the key elements that a human being draws upon to think, to reflect, and then to act are being considered in the conversations that take place.
I think back to the program often during my working week, and it has enabled me through action feedback, through different parts of the program that we're doing, to really reflect and truly think about how I do lead with the mission and values at the heart of everything that I do. And I think self-reflection is one of the biggest growth opportunities.